Our home, a place of wonder, of ancient forests and endless oceans, of countless creatures, great and small, but also a planet on the brink.
Climate change is happening in the world today.
If we don't do anything, we risk leaving nothing behind for future generations.
For too long, we've asked the question, who's going to save us? Now, we have our answer. Because when the stakes are highest, that's when heroes rise.
We have the ideas, we have the means, and we can make a difference.
These are the real action heroes. And they're racing against time with one goal: to change our world for the better.
Giving up is not an option. The only way we can win this battle is together.
This is about more than saving the planet. This is about saving ourselves. They're leading the way. And their momentum is unstoppable.
We are responsible for this Earth and every life in it. We cannot wait for others to come and save us.
The crisis is real, but so is our power to change it.
The Earthshot Prize. Meet the world's true action heroes.
Please welcome to the stage our host, CNN's Chief International Anchor, Christiane Amanpour.
Action heroes, give it up. And I really don't know how I follow that, but good afternoon anyway. I'm delighted to welcome you to the Earthshot Prize Summit Impact Assembly. Welcome all of you to Rio de Janeiro, whether you're here in the room or watching live on Earthshot's YouTube and LinkedIn channels. As hosts of COP30 and a country at the heart of the climate conversation, Brazil feels like an appropriate place to celebrate 5 years of the Earthshot Prize, the midway point in a decade of action. For me, this is also a little bit of a full circle moment, as I was here in 1992 in Rio for the first Earth Summit, which launched essentially the COP movement, so it's great to be here. And over the next hour, we'll spotlight and celebrate the most transformative announcements from the Earthshot network, those that demonstrate real investments into the finalists and advance the Earthshot mission to repair and to restore our planet. Some of the speakers today will be speaking in Portuguese, so a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget to take a moment to get familiar with the headsets which are on your seats. Now, winners or not, each of these finalists will receive support from you, the Earthshot community, to scale and accelerate their world-changing solutions. Our first speaker is responsible for making sure you meet, collaborate, and partner with the right people to create unprecedented impact. So, please welcome CEO of the Earthshot Prize, Jason Knopf. Welcome.
Bom dia. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my great honor to welcome you here today to the Earthshot Prize Impact Assembly. Can I start by thanking all of our partners and sponsors for making all of this possible? We are deeply grateful to you all. Prince William founded the Earthshot Prize in 2020 with the belief that the best way to tackle our challenges is to face them head on. Guided by a simple equation, urgency plus optimism equals action, we wanted to make a distinctive difference and a lasting contribution. The first half of the Earthshot decade has shown that while the challenges we are facing are immense, so many of the solutions needed already exist. Our finalists are delivering real impact. They have protected over 1 million hectares of land and ocean, brought species back from the brink of extinction, delivered clean power to hundreds of millions, and raised over $500 million in investment. They have created thousands of jobs, lifted communities, protected and restored nature on a massive scale, pulled carbon from the atmosphere, removed tens of millions of single-use plastics, and cleaned the air breathed by millions. And now, 5 years into our historic mission, we could have no better backdrop than being here in Brazil, a nation of abundant natural beauty, the birthplace of modern environmental diplomacy, and now host of COP30. We know we have a lot left to do. We have to move faster, and we have to move with renewed ambition. In that spirit, our 2025 finalists are transforming our world. They are exemplars of a much wider movement of leaders and organizations who are rising to the greatest challenges of our time and seizing the incredible economic and social opportunities of our age. Now, your job, all of you out here today, is to first be inspired by the stories and the new announcements that you're about to hear. But then we're going to lock the doors, and you have to stay in this room until you have made a commitment to support the work of one or maybe even more of our finalists. So we'll be checking on the way out. This isn't just about Earthshot or even just our incredible finalists. We approach this effort with the humility that comes from knowing we are only one part of this movement. But we also approach it with a sense of responsibility we feel to use every tool at our disposal to do our bit. 2030 is a threshold by which history will judge us. but we're approaching that threshold with unwavering, exponential momentum. Positive tipping points are within our reach. Our societies will be wealthier. Our people will be healthier. The natural world will thrive, and our economies will grow. This isn't about hope. This is what urgent optimism looks like. By 2030, we choose to stand with our partners and friends around the world to put the success of this historic transition beyond any question. Our success is inevitable, and our momentum is unstoppable. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Now, before we launch into the announcements themselves, my first conversation with two extraordinary leaders we'll do right now, both described as climate rock stars in their own rights, both reshaping environmental history in powerful ways. So please welcome Earthshot 2025 finalists, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, and Brazil's Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Marina Silva. And this is where housekeeping comes in. Okay. All right. To you first, Minister Silva. As a it's two. As a climate leader, how historic and significant is this moment in your view?
Hello. Well, first I would like to say that it's a pleasure to be here with you, with Mia Mottley, and with everyone who's here with us today. I would like to say that this is a historical moment because we are experiencing a sort of threshold. We are already under the dramatic effects of climate change. We are under a situation that is not just about climate urgency, it's a climate emergency. And in a situation of emergency, we have to focus on what is essential. And that's why COP30 that will happen in Belém in the midst of a tropical forest is probably the best sign of this emergency. In 2004, we had a great drought in the Amazon region, and this great drought made rivers that were 17 meters deep became, for example, only around 40 centimeters. And so this caused a great loss to the communities that live around these areas and caused many species of fish to die. And there were great fires in tropical forests that are humid. They do not go on fire that easily. And that year we had, or actually last year, we had 2,000 square kilometers of areas that were cleared because of forest fires. And this is the great indicator that we are under a climate emergency. That's why COP30 will have to be the COP of implementation, the COP that will allow us to implement what we have committed to. We should not continue to commit to things that are being delayed. We have to be 2 times more efficient. We have to do the transition from coal and oil and gas in a fair and clear way. Because yes, we can stop clearing out the forests and deforestation in the Amazon. But if we don't reduce CO2 emissions, forests are going to be harmed either way. And we need to do this in a fair and planned way so that we won't experience the undesired effects of this transition.
Prime Minister Mottley. Many times on my program about your challenges in Barbados. You've been the driving force behind the Bridgetown Initiative, a radical proposal to redesign global financial systems so that small island states like yours can access affordable long-term funding to survive the climate shocks and invest in resilience. You know, in the wake of Melissa, we know about how important this is. So what's next?
Continuing the battle. We're going in the right direction, but not fast enough. This is a climate crisis, not just an emergency. And the reality is that it takes cash to cure, it takes cash to build. You already know that we didn't cause it, but we're the ones who will be increasing our debt to be able to fight it. You only have to look at what you saw in Jamaica, in Cuba, in Haiti with Melissa. And we have been successful in getting the natural disaster clauses accepted by the commercial markets. We issued a bond of $500 million US in June, and in it were pandemic clauses and climate natural disaster clauses. The World Bank has accepted it. The UK Export Development Agency is using it. The French are using it. We need all countries to use it bilaterally. Secondly, we need to come to grips with the fact that debt swaps actually create space in a way that is market friendly, and hence we've done a debt for nature swap and a debt for climate swap where we are building new capacity to adapt to the new realities without increasing a cent in debt. Thirdly, we need to look very, very quickly at insurance, because this is where the rubber hits the road. A country, a sector, or a region that is uninsurable becomes uninvestable. And just take the Caribbean. You have to refurbish hotels here in Brazil too, every few years if you're to command competitiveness. And if you don't do that, then you lose your market share. But to get the loans, you have to have insurance. To keep insurance, you have to be able to afford the premium, and in some instances, to access it. Just look at what's happening in California with the risk for wildfires not being insurable there, or in southwestern United States of America, United States of America, with floods, with hurricanes, and it is spreading into the northern and southern Caribbean. So those things are critical. We need to keep fighting for long-term affordable capital. All the countries affected last week have to go and look for money to build while not being able to earn. So without the Bridgetown Initiative, we say, we're not going to be able to fundamentally address the issue of financing, and that is the equivalent of a human being not having lungs to breathe.
And it's often an overlooked part of this, the necessity for all the financing. Just very quickly, we have 40 seconds left, so in 20 seconds each, what does it mean to be a finalist? What does it mean for your country and for yourselves? First to you, 20 seconds.
Well, first, it means I'm so grateful because this is an acknowledgement of the innovative ability of Brazil. Brazil was able to help in formulating the clean development mechanisms in the Kyoto Protocol. We were also able to create the Amazon Fund, a fund that is a payment for the results that are reached because of deforestation. And for 10 years, we've reduced deforestation in 83%. And now we created the TFF, an innovative fund for payment for those who are not involved in deforestation. And a fund is not a donation, it's an
And Prime Minister, you have 10 seconds. You can do it.
Absolutely. It is a validation that the fight of small island states matters, and that we will not stop until it's over. We have to get the message out there. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you all very much. We'll be back in a bit.
The task is monumental.
We're running out of time.
I choose to believe that future generations will look back on this decade as the point at which we took collective action for our planet.
All right, here we go.
People are now looking to attack this problem head on.
many people are coming together.
The movement is growing by the day.
I do believe everybody has a superhero inside them.
The situation was critical.
The best way to restore the ocean is let the ocean do it itself.
What gives me hope is that nature has all the solutions already.
We are here by the grace of nature. That's not something we should take for granted.
Failure is not an option, and the cost of inaction is far greater than funding solutions today.
We can do it. We can fix our climate.
We can protect and restore nature.
Clean our air.
Revive our oceans.
And build a waste-free world. All of us feel a deep sense of responsibility.
Imagine what could be possible for our planet.
Please welcome to the stage founder and CEO of Matter, Adam Root.
Hello, everybody. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about the textiles industry that draws 5% of global drinking water, and it pollutes 20%. This is what that pollution looks like. This is water being directly discharged into a river after a legally compliant wastewater treatment plant. This water is filled with dye, it's filled with microplastics, and it's filled with fragments of the plastics that make our clothes. These materials are contaminating our oceans, they're contaminating our air, and they're contaminating our food. Microplastics are everywhere that we look for them, whether it be inside our brains, our hearts, our lungs, and even our unborn children. And to top it off, that factory is spending $1.6 million a year to make their water look like that. Matter exists to solve this challenge. We've made a commitment to the Earthshot Prize that by 2030, we will remove 15,000 metric tons of microfiber pollution. And today, I'm going to show you how that's possible. Matter has developed the next generation of wastewater treatment technology that is scalable and ready. It's designed to drop in as a retrofit solution into existing wastewater treatment plants and act as a pre-screen, removing contaminants before they get to a wastewater treatment plant. Our system removes over 97% of microfibers while using just 3% of the energy for a conventional treatment process. For a textiles manufacturer, we reduce their costs and typically provide a 3-year return on investment. This is game-changing, and now we're proud to announce that we are scaling globally with a groundbreaking partnership with IKEA. IKEA is one of the world's largest textiles producers, is partnering with Matter to install our technology across their supply chain. We'll be starting in Bangladesh and India, and IKEA sees the potential of our technology and believes it should exist at scale. IKEA are also leading an investment round into Matter. They're going to be providing millions of pounds of funding and the capital to make this happen. Together, this partnership represents one of the largest coordinated efforts to tackle waterborne microfibers pollution in the textiles industry. Our shared goal is to deploy Matter's regen filters across 1,200 sites in their global supply chain, saving the textiles manufacturers over $1.4 billion, preventing 350,000 tons of microfiber pollution, and generating over $600 million in revenue for Matter. This is proving that protecting our oceans isn't just the right thing to do, it's essential for sustainable business success. Please join me and my team in celebrating this milestone and a beginning for a cleaner, circular future for textiles powered by Matter.
Is he coming? Thank you for that. And I'd now like to welcome on stage two partners in progress from 500 Global, one of the world's leading startup accelerators, investing in innovators across more than 80 countries. Managing partner, Dr. Alain Mourabit, and the man who's hosting us all this week here in this incredible city of Rio, the mayor, Eduardo Paes. Welcome. Right. Let me ask you, Dr. Alain Mourabit, first. One of the leading startup accelerators investing in innovators across more than 80 countries. Tell me what it is that you want to say about the role of that, investing.
Well, I think it's really exciting that we're all here and we're talking about this now, because I think particularly in climate, it has been such a long time coming. And the two speakers before us spoke so eloquently about how much climate risk is really faced by emerging economies and what we call the global south. I'm trying to change that term to the global majority, so hopefully we can make it happen. But over 75% of risk is faced in these countries, and yet we get a fraction of the investment, less than 15%. And that has implications for how countries respond, how countries can build, and how innovations can scale. And particularly local leaders are then the most overlooked. So 500 Global for the past 15 years has been investing, as you said, in over 80 countries. And we've invested in over 140 climate innovations in over 27 countries. And our focus has really been, how do you create scale and pathways and opportunities for innovators in community? So I'm very excited that we are working with the Earthshot Prize on an investment strategy that is really about creating those pathways and scaling climate-smart technologies for the communities that need it the absolute most.
Great. To Mayor Paes, there's another part to this announcement that crosses into your territory involving expanding the 500 Global existing network of hubs. So why are you championing, and why is it important to Rio to champion these hubs?
I mean, first, I'd like to thank Ala that she made that decision to come to the so-called Global South. When you look at the imbalance that happens between the investments in sustainable measures, in efforts to get things done in Global South cities, and even with startups, it's something that needs to change. So we've been working to make Rio a city that's completely connected to innovation. And there's a bunch of things, good things happening in cities in the Global South. They are innovatives, that they can change people's life. They represent a possibility of even dealing with the climate change problems that we face. So that's how we see that Rio can be that place to host hubs like 500.
And I think a theme cropping up, certainly from our last conversation as well, is this unfairness of this. The countries that do the least to contribute to climate change get the worst hit and get the worst and are the poorest, so they can not really take care of themselves. So what impact and benefits do these innovation hubs have, Dr. Mourabit, on the Global South, which you want to change the name, the majority of the world?
Yeah, the global majority. I think it's exciting in part because I think a lot of times we think solutions are limited to the circumstances they exist in, right? So a Global South solution has impact in that country, in that continent, in that context. And I think actually the innovations that are successful in the Global South transform the way we are globally looking at climate action. So it's all the more important to ensure that innovators and local leaders have access to global networks, capital, resources, support, infrastructure, so that they're actually able to scale beyond those borders. Now, 500 Global has been doing this again for over 15 years. We've supported over 5,000 founders in over 80 countries. And of course, Rio has done so much work to really be able to build out an ecosystem that supports this. Over the past 10 years, actually, we've invested in Latin America, have over 200 companies here, and 6 of our companies from Brazil are all valued at 100 million. or more. And I think while that's incredible economically, what's even more exciting is the social and broader economic ripple effects that has. It means greater access to healthcare and education. It means a job creation and income uplift. And so the hubs are really meant to connect founders to each other, to connect their solutions to a global hub system, and to really elevate and amplify and accelerate the work that they're able to do. And I'll just add, one of the most exciting things about all of this is I myself started off as a local leader, trying to solve community challenges in the context of conflict. And so I think the most important thing we can do is invest in those local leaders and entrepreneurs. And with 500 Global's experience and history here, with Earthshot's incredible 5,500 solutions network, it's such an incredible opportunity, along with cities like Rio, to be able to bring public, private, philanthropic capital together, to be able to get development finance institutions and sovereign wealth funds and innovators all at the same table and say we need to be thinking about solutions differently, because the problems are bigger than just one of us. It's all of us.
So, Mayor Page, let me ask you then, Rio, and I mentioned 1992, the Earth Summit, I mean, has been synonymous with so much of this climate activism for so long. The Earthshot Prize you're hosting, the World's Mayor Summit, the COP30 Local Leaders Forum, that's just this year. Why Rio, and what legacy do you think it'll leave for this city?
Well, first thing I need to say it's the most beautiful place in the world.
That's true.
So everybody agrees on that. Prince William is amazed since the day he got. I had to tell him that he was coming to the Kingdom of Rio, and I'm the king here, but I gave him the keys of the city. But let me tell you, I mean, Rio has a history on that, as you said. Rio 92, Rio Plus 20, we had in 2012. We just got big meetings from G20, from BRICS. And that has a lot to do with something you said here. I mean, when you go to the global south or the global majority, whatever, this is where people are suffering most. So Rio can be, we want to be a good example of changes that can be made. So this is an equal country, lots of poverty, lots of people suffering from climate change, from all the extreme events that we see nowadays. So we want Rio to be a benchmark for what the rich world can do to help things to get better in the global south for the global majority.
So far, so good.
Yeah. And we still got some caipirinhas and samba, which is going to be always great.
Mayor Paish, Dr. Murabit, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Indigenous leader and climate activist Chai Surui.
Good morning. I was born in the heart of the Amazon, where every sound, breath, and sunrise reminds us that we belong to nature, not the other way around. From my earliest memories, I learned the forest is our home, our teacher, and our responsibility. To care for it is to care for ourselves, our ancestors, and the future generations. For me, climate leadership is not abstract. It's a way of living, a daily act of respect, courage, and connection. Each means protecting the sacred balance that sustains us, our territories, our forests, while opening paths to a new future. Across Brazil, I see young people raising with the same determination. in cities and villages. Creativity flows like the rivers that unite us. We dream of a future that honors our roots, demarcate our territories, and embrace modern wisdom where tradition and technology walk side by side. But to turn these dreams into reality, we need space to learn, collaborate, and grow. That's why I'm proud to share the launch of the Earthshot Climate Leadership Program. Was a research of INSPER University in São Paulo, I have worked alongside educators and change makers, building bridges between sustainability, indigenous knowledge, and academic skills. In partnership with the Earthshot Prize, the new graduate level program will prepare Brazil's next generation of climate leaders, people ready to transform business, policy, and society with heart and vision. Students will tackle real-world challenges using creative thinking, visual tools, and hands-on experiments to craft climate solutions that matter. From climate justice to circular innovation, they will learn by doing. Above all, this program celebrates diversity and belonging. Each invites every voice to the circle, every story to be heard. This is how we build a future that is sustainable, inclusive, and full of life for Brazil and for the earth that unite us all. Thank you.
Thank you for that heartfelt message from the lungs of the world, after all. And a huge thank you to our speakers so far for sharing such inspiring news. And we're only halfway through. Can I make another housekeeping request? A lot of you are terribly interested, that's great, but a lot of phones are obscuring the faces of the guests on stage. So maybe if you can just keep your phones slightly lowered and get your memories anyway. Now, still to come, we have Earthshot Prize trustee and former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, some incredible stories of progress from previous finalists, and of course the founder and president of the Earthshot Prize, His Royal Highness Prince William. Right now, though, I'd like to introduce two finalists who are safeguarding the future of our oceans. So please welcome Adam Tomasek, representing the Debt for Nature Coalition, and Rebecca Hubbard from the High Seas Treaty Alliance. How are you? Right, this is what's known as our rapid round. So, Rebecca, in September you announced that the High Seas Treaty had reached a historic milestone, securing 60 ratifications, the threshold that's required for it to enter into force. I mean, that's amazing. What did it feel like and how important?
It felt amazing, absolutely. In just 2 years since the treaty was agreed, we achieved 60 country ratifications. And that was really a remarkable speed for getting 60 countries to ratify an international treaty. Right now, though, there's an urgency for more countries to join that. 145 countries have actually signed the treaty, suggesting their commitment to ratify. And now, as we race towards the first conference of the parties for the High Seas Treaty, those other countries want to ratify as well. They want to be at that decision-making table, because at that first conference, countries will be deciding the rules, the foundations of how the treaty will operate, and whether or not it can really deliver the protection that it has set its ambition for, which is equitable, efficient, effective. And so what is really exciting to share with the world is that a number of countries have already started to prepare the first set of high seas marine protected areas. And so those countries include Chile, Costa Rica, Palau, Nigeria, and Canada. So
that is really worth a massive round of applause, because as we know, the ferocity of Melissa was also about the increasing warmth of the ocean and at depth, which makes it go even stronger. So let me ask you, Adam, this is about protecting the seas, but you're here to talk about ocean bonds, the sort of, I guess, the methodology. Tell us what it is and what you're here to announce today.
Thank you so much, Christiana, and it's a real pleasure to be here. I am very excited as the Executive Director of the Debt for Nature Coalition, which is a new experiment in radical collaboration of bringing 7 different organizations together to focus on sovereign debt conversions. The organizations are represented here, and we're really excited to be able to announce that we have just received a $100 million commitment from the Zoma Lab, which is the family office of Ben and Luciana Walton. And this is, thank you. And this is kickstarting one of our commitments to the Earthshot as a finalist this year, to raise $1 billion in private credit enhancement through a facility to accelerate the work that we're doing, which is to turn sovereign debt into engines for long-term investments in nature, resilience, and people. So we're really excited about being on this journey and look forward to what more we can continue to do with this type of support.
And with those financial instruments to be able to do it. Now, in one sentence, can you both please say to all of the people in this room what everyone needs to do to support this great work? One sentence, Rebecca.
One sentence.
No pressure.
One sentence, 3 dot points. Countries ratify and prepare to implement. Investors and philanthropists fund it. And communities, Indigenous peoples, scientists unite to mobilize support for implementation.
Loud and clear. And you?
I'm going to pick up where Prime Minister Mia Mottley left off, which is if you are a government that is searching for pathways to reduce your sovereign debt and invest in long-term nature solutions, come talk to us. If you are a financial institution, a bank, a philanthropist, an investor, we would love to help you find ways to put your capital to work to deliver on nature and people outcomes.
Fantastic. Thank you both very much. Thank you.
Challenge bigger than the battle against climate change.
It may seem overwhelming, but actually there are good people doing good work.
Their amazing work is helping quite literally to save the world.
It won't just take our collective will to create the change required, it will also take innovation.
To bring energy access to millions of people across the world.
I'm optimistic about the future because together there is a solution to this problem.
What gives me hope for the future is the work that we are doing right now for the next generation.
The
invite all the Global Alliance partners to work with us to defend the planet, to demand equity, and to defeat poverty.
If everyone involved works towards a common goal, social and environmental benefits can be extraordinary.
I'm so impressed by the work that each of these Earthshot finalists are doing.
Working with these communities every single day.
Working with the people.
To help them really meaningfully protect their waters.
To help them to restore their ecosystem.
To help them be more productive.
To help them succeed.
They all give us hope, which we are told springs eternal.
Please welcome to the stage former Prime Minister of New Zealand and Earthshot Prize trustee, Jacinda Ardern.
Kia ora koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou e te Earthshot Prize whānau. It is so wonderful to be here with you this afternoon in the warmth of your enthusiasm and optimism. In the 2 years since joining the Earthshot Prize, I've had the immense privilege, alongside our incredible trustees, of watching our finalists grow, not just as world-class innovators and climate leaders, but into ambassadors of optimism that show us all that change is possible. And what struck me most is not just their ideas, but their courage. It's the kind of leadership that's grounded in conviction, collaboration, and a deep practical belief that people and planet can be better off. Their progress is an ongoing reminder that leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about bringing the right people together to find them. And that's exactly what these finalists continue to do, all whilst inspiring us all to keep going. Today, I'm delighted to introduce a few of our past finalists on stage to share their exciting new announcements. So please, can I bring to the stage Eric Bainan, Laura Plant, Adith Mordi, and 2 finalists who in true Earthshot spirit are working together on an exciting collaboration, Sam Alsam and Marcelo Pethci. Please, come to the stage. Come on. Come on.
Last year, ATS Energy earned the Earthshot Prize for doing what many thought impossible, converting industrial waste heat into clean electricity with no moving parts. We did it through discipline, courage, and a belief that innovation should serve a higher purpose. And today, in Rio, we take the decisive next step. We're announcing the world's first commercial megawatt-scale solid-state generator. It's a system that captures waste heat and turns it into reliable, emission-free power. It's integrated with the Clean Hydrogen project that will power a next-generation data center. Around the world, 60% of industrial energy is wasted as heat. It's not just a problem. It's the greatest opportunity of our time. ATS Energy is unlocking this resource with precision and perseverance, delivering one of the most scalable and measurable paths to industrial decarbonization. For 140 years, we've used turbines. Today, the solid-state era begins, transforming waste heat into power for a more efficient world. Thank you.
At Naturemetrics, we've cracked the code to seeing biodiversity at a level of detail never possible before. How do we do it? Every living thing leaves behind traces of DNA in water, in soil, in air. We collect those traces and decode them. We can tell you exactly what is living where. This new technology has changed everything. Conservation work that used to take years can now take weeks. But it's the scale at which we can deploy this that is truly extraordinary. Today, we're excited to announce a historic milestone. Our DNA monitoring has reached 10% of the Earth's surface. That makes it one of the largest living species databases on the planet. And combined with satellite data and AI, we can now predict what biodiversity exists across entire landscapes. We're also announcing today that right here in Brazil, we're launching a new laboratory. This means we're putting this technology in the hands of people in the most biodiverse region on Earth. We're not just measuring nature, we're building the essential infrastructure to save it. Thank you.
I founded Boomitra in 2016, an AI and satellite technology company helping farmers and ranchers restore soils, remove carbon, and earn income for regenerating their land. Winning the Earthshot Prize in 2023 sparked a chain of real-world impact. During Earthshot's evaluation of Boomitra's solution, Deloitte, one of Earthshot's global alliance members, led the due diligence on our northern Mexico grassland restoration project, visiting ranchers, reviewing data, and verifying results firsthand. That experience built trust, and today, we are proud to announce that Deloitte has gone from evaluator to partner. They are purchasing verified soil carbon credits from that very same project. Together, we're supporting over 4 million acres of restored grasslands and removing more than 1.2 million tons of CO2 every year. This is the power of Earthshot. It doesn't stop at recognition. It forges the connections that turn bold ideas into measurable climate action, finance flowing to ranchers, ecosystems regenerating, and carbon being pulled from the atmosphere. Technology, trust, and partnership, rooted in the soil and scaling across the planet. Thank you.
And today marks a powerful new chapter for Sea Forest. We're partnering with Belterra Agritech, a fellow Earthshot Prize finalist, and Rio Capim farmers to bring our methane-reducing feed technology, Sea Feed, to Brazil.
Brazil is home to over 200 million cattle, the largest herd on Earth. And with Belterra's deep roots in regenerative agriculture, together we can help farmers cut emissions dramatically without raising the cost of food.
And our first pilot begins with Rio Capim's farms in Para using Sea Feed as a simple lick supplement, easy for farmers but transformative for the planet. United by and supported by Earthshot Prize, this partnership shows what's possible when innovators from land and ocean come together with one common goal: to produce more food with fewer resources and combat livestock methane emissions.
If we can help Brazil's farmers cut methane by up to 80%, the impact would be extraordinary, a reduction equivalent of millions of tons, hundreds of millions of tons of CO2 each year. This partnership is the first step toward that vision. On behalf of all Earthshot Prize finalists, we thank you.
I don't think you get into this if you're not hopeful.
All our finalists remind us that no matter where you are, the spirit of ingenuity surrounds us all.
When great people come together with shared passion, we can make amazing progress.
Can take 4.
I think it's felt like, okay, now it's the moment, finally.
We want to speed up carbon mineralization, and we want to remove 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide by 2040.
We need new systems in place and new technology so that we can have a waste-free world and a much safer planet.
The only way that we're going to achieve the positive change that's needed is by doing it together.
What's next for Coral Vita is more coral farms around the world so that we can ensure that coral reefs are surviving and thriving for future generations.
When you think about really large-scale problems, you need really large-scale solutions.
There is huge reason to be optimistic.
We need to scale this solution around the planet and make circularity part of every household.
I'm also aware that we're just scratching the surface.
The bottom line could not be clearer.
We need to invest now in the innovators who are finding breakthrough solutions.
It's up to all of us to support them.
The cost of inaction is far greater than funding solutions today.
It's worth our energy, our investment, our commitment.
Helping many of these finalists take their ideas to the next level.
We can make fixing the climate the greatest project of our lifetime.
Please welcome to the stage Executive Director of Tenure Facility, Nonette Royot.
Greetings to all, to Earth Spirit, and to the carers of the land we stand on. 7 years ago, when I began leading Tenure Facility, I spoke with By Mercy, an Indigenous woman, community leader, about my work. She looked at me and shared the dangers of protecting forests in Mount Kitanglad National Park, home of the endemic and sacred monkey-eating eagles. We bowed our heads and prayed for healing and abundance. Healing from human forgetfulness, to remember that nature thrives in caring, not in excessive extraction. And for all Indigenous, Afro-descendant, and local communities to remain strong in stewarding a third of the world's intact forest found in their territories. And for abundance to thrive with dedicated funding, knowing in my heart at that time, the global climate finance, 1% or even less than 1% go to communities on the ground. And we had in our bank account just $1 million. I am proud to announce that today, after 7 years of hard work and donor trust, Tenure Facility has surpassed $100 million in direct disbursement to Indigenous peoples, Afro-descendant peoples, and local communities, traditional communities, to help them secure their land rights. And this includes $13 million in direct funding to communities and community-led funds here in Brazil. And we are positioned to double this number to $200 million within the next 2 years. By 2027, our support will have enabled our partners to advance territorial rights over 60 million hectares, including 5 million hectares here in Brazil. That's an area the size of France. Everyone said it's not possible. How did we do it? We stayed focused in implementation, just doing, with respect, reliability, and trust. Respect by meeting communities where they are, in the front lines, in precarious situations. Reliability by adapting our systems so that we can deliver and leverage long-term partnerships, going beyond projects and enabling their access to big finance like the Green Climate Fund. And trust in their cultural protocols, in relating, in timing, in sharing with governments, with donors, and other partners. With these values, it is doable. Together with Earthshot, we can reach billions of hectares to secure our planet and ourselves, and we can make this movement unstoppable.
Me now. Thank you, Nonette. Now, few prizes have captured global imagination quite like the Earthshot Prize. It's a bold bet on human inequity. A few champions embody that spirit of optimism and purpose more than the man behind it. For our final conversation, then, please welcome founder and president of the Earthshot Prize, His Royal Highness Prince William. Well, I mean, this has been very inspiring, a lot of incredible finalists, a lot of optimism and action and really hope. You've been in the 5 years, this is a 10-year action project. I mean, I think you've sorted through thousands and thousands of finalists, you've got hundreds of partners, and apparently 75 actual solutions. What have these tangible efforts done, and are you satisfied with the progress so far midway?
Christian, I think it's days like today that there's a chance for a bit of a reflection as to, I can't quite believe we are at the halfway mark of the 10-year plan of the decade of change that Earthshot was there for. I'm so pleased and impressed by what the Earthshot's achieved, but most of all by the finalists, the winners, and all the Earthshot community that are out here. They've risen to the challenge. They've managed to do everything that we've asked of them. They've managed to go and secure their deals. They've managed to scale their products. They've managed to build networks between each other and people they've never seen before. And I think we've challenged them at every turn to be bolder, be better, be ambitious, reach for the stars. The Earthshot's job around that is to really be the glue that holds it all together. And I think when we first started talking about this as a concept, optimism was the key word we always wanted to use, because as you saw on the screen here, urgency and optimism equal action. And there was an awful lot of pessimism going around. And I think you can feel today that the positivity and the sort of feeling of hope and we can do this from every single person. I mean, they're the brains and they're the fantastic people who are going to do what we need to do, and they're going to bring the planet into a better, healthier state than it's ever been before. So, you know, the transformational impact that these guys have had has been truly phenomenal. But we are only halfway, and we've got another 5 years to go.
You've touched on not just the optimism and the impact, but also essentially the community. It is a community that believes in the same thing and is motivated. I know you believe in the power of community. Tell me a little bit more about that, not just for Earthshot, but in general.
Yeah, I think this space needed somewhere to come together. It was very fragmented, and I think for those who want to do good and those who feel they can, and as most of the solutions are highly commercial, this is not a philanthropic activity, you need to find that space, that community where everyone can feel that they've got the space to grow, they've got the support, and they've got the direction. Many of these guys and girls, they've got incredible solutions, but might need a little bit of help over here. They might need a bit of mentoring over here. They might need an introduction over here. The Earthshot provides that family to allow them to go on and be the best they can be.
I'm interested in the inspiration and the motivation behind you taking on this mission, essentially. It is a mission. Today there was an amazing picture that's gone viral all over the UK of you standing at the statue of Christ the Redeemer, and they compare it to your mother standing there back in 1991, I want to think it was that year. And she, of course, was prominent in basically in humanitarian activities and mine clearing. But your father also was prominent, and some would say, many would say, ahead of the curve on climate, environmental conservation. Did he motivate you, inspire you? Because it's interesting to know how you got to this point.
I think it's a combination of all of that. I'm very lucky to be in this position and use my platform for good. And whenever I'm doing stuff, I'm constantly analyzing where best can I use my platform for the greatest impact. And talking about the Earthshot was always an idea that positivity and a positive message to anyone brings out the best in them. There's a lot of negativity, a lot of telling people off, don't do this, don't do that. It doesn't work. And as you can see, you give the right people the right tools and resources, they flourish, and the impact they can have is truly phenomenal.
What about storytelling? One thing I, as a journalist, see is that many powerful leaders, both political and, in fact, industry leaders, tend to roll back climate progress, tend to demonize it, weaponize it, let's say. Obviously, they have a vested interest, but do you think there's a dearth of this kind of storytelling that we've heard today, these kinds of positive reinforcements? And I wonder what your view is on that, and what you tell your own young children about climate and planet care.
I think exactly on that last point, Christian, it's really important that the next generation believe there is change coming and there is hope that things can change and get better. I've always believed in that positivity and that positive message. But I think I'm inspired by these guys. That's what gets me up in the morning when I think about Earthshot. That's what's given me the motivation and the energy to keep going. And the community that's come around them has been truly phenomenal. I'd like it to be bigger, and at many points this is a rallying call for those businesses and those people who out there who may not have had contact with the Earthshot Prize before, may be interested. They need to come and meet these people, because once you've met them and you've heard them, you realize this is not anything that's it's not philanthropic, it's not a nice thing to have. They're commercial products that are going to make life better. They're going to create jobs, they're going to do incredible things for the planet, and they're going to make our lives better and healthier.
You and the Princess of Wales are also you have another big project, which is mental health. And I ask this in view of the children, your children, the world's children, who are forced to watch on their iPhones wars, wildfires, destruction, all sorts of really difficult things that has affected them a lot. We even hear about children, because of the climate disaster, not wanting to grow up and get married and having a family of their own. What do you think about trying to mitigate that fear for them? Is it something like the Earthshot? Is it the hope that you can tangibly show people, the action?
Definitely. Again, I think a world without hope and a world without positivity is a pretty depressing place. And I think it's really important that we produce solutions. We don't just talk about things the whole time, we're actually producing solutions. And these finalists, these winners, are producing solutions that we all need to see and hear. Climate anxiety is a real thing.
Yeah.
I hear about it wherever I go now. Lots of younger generation are saying, well, what kind of a planet are we going to inherit? And I think that message needs to go wider and louder, and the younger generations need to be heard more. I mean, I had a fantastic session with the youth of all parts of the world dealing in the environment, and their message was very strong, which is that please let our voices be heard more. And we don't want to be a box ticked. We want to be actually heard and heard and seen and listened to. And again, that inspires me, but I've got to find out ways to help them be seen and heard more, because there's a lot of noise out there, as you hinted at, and we have to find ways for these brilliant people who are going to ultimately save us and the planet to restore and protect ourselves. We have to find a way to allow them to be heard more.
So you know that you're somebody that people all over the world look to, they follow your every action, every word, including some of the stuff you've been doing recently publicly. I've watched with great interest the encounter you had with the great writer and producer Eugene Levy. And you talked about a lot of things, and it looked to me like you were humanizing the monarchy, and it was very interesting to hear where you focused. But something that drew a lot of interest was when you said to Eugene, I think it's safe to say that change is on my agenda, change for the good. I embrace that and I enjoy that change. I don't fear it. And you went on to say, I want to make sure that this is a job that impacts people's lives for the better. I want to create a world in which my son is proud of what we do. And, given the fact that, there's been a lot of change in your own family recently, and you yourself have talked about this change, just talk about that a little bit. Where do you see the change? What do you think needs to happen?
I think the Earthshot Prize is a classic example of change. Rather than talk about it, we're doing it. And that's where I want it to be, is that these people in here are the true action heroes of our time. And change will come by backing them, not by what I do. And so I want to surround myself with people who want to make change and do good in the world.
Is that what you meant when you told Eugene that you want your son to be proud of that kind of change?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Again, you have to provide a leadership and a vision that there's good things to come and that it's not all negative. And for my children particularly, knowing that the planet's going to be in a healthier, better state because of the brilliant people in this room is something that I love to tell them, when they go to bed. It's like, it's going to be great. Your future is going to be as bright as futures gone by. And that's a really important message for all of us to hear.
So we heard from the mayor who gave you the keys to the city, Mayor Paish. We heard from the environmental minister. We've heard from the indigenous community. And you're going to Belém to give the COP speech on behalf of His Majesty the King. What do you think is special, and why did you choose Brazil and this city particularly for the Earthshot Prize this year?
Well, the mayor will kill me unless I do a big piece for Brazil here. But obviously, Brazil, I mean, it's incredible. We've all seen it here. The natural beauty, the charm, the people, the environmental leadership that Brazil have produced is incredible. And you couldn't find a better place in Latin America to come to than Brazil for Earthshot. And obviously, them hosting COP30 is a big deal. In Belém, the mouth of the Amazon, I think we felt very strongly that there was no other better contender to host the Earthshot Prize, to give that platform and to give that mouthpiece. You heard from some of the indigenous leaders, you heard from the government. They really deeply care about the environment down here. And again, if we give them the tools and resources to impact that change, then Brazil and the world will be a better place.
On that note, thank you so much, Your Royal Highness Prince William. Thank you. And why was it so important for the Earthshot Prize to, well, no, that is actually it. That's it for this event. I was getting, I don't know, something, moved into, maybe I'm meant to be saying this. We've heard announcements today that move beyond words into real, tangible action. The message has been clear, this community's momentum is unstoppable, and optimism is what powers it. And as Jason said, repairing the planet is not just possible, it's inevitable when we work together. So before you go, stay with us for Earthshot Hour, an opportunity to meet and connect with like-minded collaborators who'll turn that inevitability into action. And we and Earthshot hope to see you again next year, wherever it is. Thank you.